In today's show, we discuss, has the digital age collapsed objective truth?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasula, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you're keeping safe and well and enjoying that liquor that I've just seen on the screen.
Yes, I was. First of all, hello, audience. Thank you for joining us. And where am I? Where am I? Okay. And I'd like to say welcome to our latest. Well, how do I put this? We get a report and it tells us who has just lately joined us. And we've been joined recently by someone in Moreton in Marsh in Gloucestershire here in the UK. Okay. And someone in Tula de Allende, which I hope I'm pronouncing properly, in Hidalgo in Mexico. So welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us. As Tony mentioned, I was just poured myself a beer, and I've had to make up my mind whether to, as my fact for this week, say that I think that Carlsberg Premium Export is one of the worst beers I've ever tasted in my life, and I'll never buy it again.
Oh,
so it's horrible.
So that's not a glowing endorsement.
It's actually blooming horrible. Never ever again. I remember it from my youth. It's been pretty good, but they must have done something because it's terrible. But instead of telling you that, guys, what I'm going to share with you instead is one of the best pieces. In fact, I think it's probably the finest piece of free software that I've ever come across. And it's called PDF-24, no spaces. PDF-24.
I'm going to write that down as well.
Well, I'm going to send you the link in a second.
Okay.
And it is 100% free. And you can use it online, or you can download it and install it on your machine. It's up to you. And like me, I think you'll find in a couple of days, you'll just uninstall your other PDF products because you genuinely won't need them any longer. So, yeah, really good, really fine piece, and you're welcome. I hope you enjoy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. It's not one of these, is it? If it's free, how are they obviously surviving?
You can pay. You can pay for certain things, but it's not necessary. There's no function on the screen where if you pay, you'll get this piece of functionality. It's up to you, and you can. I think it's more like donationware or something, whatever they call it. It's up to you. And they've been in there for donkeys. I believe they were first created in 2011, if I remember properly. So they've been around for a while. It's not a fly-by-night cowboy thing. There's even a proper organization behind it. I suspect people wrote it for themselves, and then said for a company, they wrote it for themselves, and they thought this stuff is really good. Let's just give it to the world.
Wow, very, very good. Okay, if you share the link, we'll put it in the blurb for our listeners. A little digression from what we normally talk about. Okay,
there you are. There's the blurb.
Right. Now, in today's show, this is another one that Tayo's picked up on. I think it's yours.
Well, you know how we work now. You propose it, then I pick.
I know.
So it's your proposition. So you actually sort of very, very cannily putting it on me. It's not one of mine.
All right. The topic is, has the digital age collapsed objective truth? Now, I don't know if you want to start commenting, or do you want me to do it, to explain first what I suppose objective truth is? Do you want to do it? Do you want me to do it?
Oh, well, you're now in my territory when you start talking about objective truth. It's one of my little bugbears, isn't it?
Yeah.
Objective truth is the exact opposite. Not proper definition when you start mentioning other things. The objective truth is the exact opposite of what modern consensus science reaches for.
Okay. That's not what I was expecting, but okay.
That's why I'm so furious and about the entire topic. It's just objective truth means that anyone who's inspecting said truth, something that is objectively true, does not need to accept any assumptions a priori. So no assumptions, it is the same thing no matter who's looking at it. That is an objective truth. There's no interpretation involved.
Yes.
It is just like this. It is as it is in itself and complete.
It's basically a truth, whether whether or not anyone knows it, believes it, or even if they exist, it's there. It's there. It's real. It's factual. It's verifiable in the world by multiple sources. That's an objective truth. It's got nothing to do with anyone's thoughts or feelings or perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
That's subjective truth, but objective truth, as you've said, it's a factoid. I mean, what
It
sort
is
of
the exact
example?
opposite of trust me, bro.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like 2 plus 2 is 4. I don't
Yes,
care your feelings, don't care whether, whether you don't like it or you're not feeling right. It's an objective truth. It is what it is. It's
it's
4, the
what
answer.
the scientific method was invented or created, meta created to methodolo- meth- mm, methodologically.
Methodologically, is it?
Methodolic. I don't see.
I don't see.
Oh gosh, talk about two
We're
old
making up words now.
methodically. There, good lord, methodically is a
Yeah,
very easy word.
yes.
Why did I forget? It
Okay.
was what the scientific method was first created to methodically do, which is to find a, a way of investigating things and arriving at objective truths about the universe. It was not, as practiced today, to model things in unintelligible mathematics and then pretend that what you've modeled has to be true. That is when you tell the universe what is really there. That's not how it works. You find out what is really there. You don't calculate it and say, well, this maths works, ergo there is something out there called dark matter. Actually, your maths probably doesn't work, and that's why you had to invent dark matter. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not. There's no objective truth about it.
I don't know. I don't know so much about that, if I'm honest, because at the end of the day, there are many things that the mathematics proved, and then it was subsequently discovered because we didn't have the technique, the equipment, the technology, maybe, to actually find what it is that the maths is or does appear to be showing. So that's why. Now, yeah, you can obviously challenge the math, of course you can. But when different scientists are coming up with the same maths, once the formula is there, then you can say, well, okay, it's not an objective truth, but the mathematics, again, like we've said already, 2 plus 2 is 4. Mathematics, when you apply variables to it in a proper fashion, you get an end result. And if the data points to that, but we haven't subsequently discovered it yet, does it make it an objective truth? No, because there's no evidence to back it up. But they can still provide that and make a reasonable assumption and say, well, actually, we don't have the objective truth for this theory, but we believe that this is correct and we're looking for the evidence to corroborate this mathematic formula. That's, I believe, the way that they do it. Obviously, I'm not some scientist, but I can see their logic. I don't know why you've got such umbrage about it.
Because there are things about their maths that you don't understand. So wait, what you've just done is you've extended something that we know historically historically accurate, which is, for example, working out that planets exist, whereas we didn't have the technology to see them at first, but after Sir Isaac Newton's promulgation, promulgation, after Sir Isaac Newton published his seminal work, I forget what it was called, but the one that dealt with the theory of gravity and gave the mathematical formula for it. people apply that formula, this is what is important. First of all, they applied it to near Earth objects that they could observe, and the maths checked out. Then they reached further and tried to apply it to other bodies, and then found out that the maths seemed not to check out unless there was XYZ of such a certain mass and in this particular place, etc., which is how they discovered other planets before we actually saw them. That is good science. You define something, it's testable, it's tested, and then we go ahead and expand that maths against the world. The modern consensus type of science, for example, let me ask you this question because very few people know. Do you know, I believe I'll check it out before the end of the show. I'm going to check it out shortly. I believe the variable was called I in Einstein's theory of general relativity. Do you know what it is? What I stands for?
No.
Imaginary time.
Okay.
Well, what the hell is imaginary time? It's imaginary.
Okay.
What's it doing in the formula? What's it doing? What does that
So
mean?
are you saying that Einstein is wrong?
He was modeling something purely theoretical. He himself didn't like the idea that his maths was being used for more practical application because he himself was of the opinion, hey, this is just theory. I'm just playing with maths here. I'm not expecting you to take it up and use it as gospel. And those of us on my side of the argument, because I am not alone in my poo-pooing modern consensus science. I don't even want to call it science. Modern consensus engineering. I'm not the only one who poo-poos consensus engineering. They point this out too. That's problematic. You start putting in variables that represent what exactly in the real world. They don't represent something in the real world. There is no imaginary time in the real world. So why would you expect the maths to pan out? Don't get it.
You're making an absolute statement there on
Dude.
something that even Einstein himself had doubts about. Remember, he called it when we were looking at subatomic stuff, and he theorized that spooky behavior. And he even called it spooky science because he couldn't understand it, couldn't get his head around it. But it was happening, it was observable, but they couldn't understand it. So, you can't say there's no imaginary number. You can use the variable. That's the whole point of
no. What is imaginary time?
Works. Yeah, imaginary time.
What is it?
Well, I don't know.
Exactly. Well, no. What can it be? I give you freedom to speculate. What is imaginary time in the real world?
Maybe time that doesn't work to the way we think time works.
That would just be time, wouldn't it?
No, I'm just saying.
So there are two types of times, you're saying?
Well, they've what about at the moment where they've said that we all agree in what we believe that time moves forward, but now that's being questioned that it doesn't. There's examples now, even in nature, showing that time slows down and behaves slightly differently to what we previously thought. So now what? Now, what's that all about?
If time slows down, how do we know? Because time has slowed down. How do we know time has slowed down? I guess what are we measuring it if time has slowed down?
Yeah, but you're looking at from our reference point. You're using subjective thought and feelings.
No, not subjective thought. How do we know? It's a reasonable question. How do we know time slowed down?
We don't know, but you're now dismissing something just because it's outside of your realm of understanding.
No, hold on. You said time slowed down. I said, okay, how do you know time slowed down? Then you're blaming me. I'm asking you a simple question.
Well,
how
I don't
do
know.
you know?
I'm not citing. I'm just citing it. I'm not agreeing with it.
You're just taking it on board. You're just taking it as true.
No, I'm not taking it as true. I'm trying to go and explain to you that what we know is not black and white. We don't.
No, but you don't understand what you're trying to explain. So it's not really a good look. I mean, you shouldn't be trying to explain anything. If you don't understand what they mean by time slowed down, if you didn't ask the hard questions out of us that how do you know time slowed down, you'd be able to tell me. But you can't tell me.
Time has gone backwards.
So
what? I don't understand that.
If people are telling you nonsense, you would just say you're telling me nonsense. Time doesn't go backwards. And if it does go backwards, explain it in a way that I can fully understand it. Show me how you know. I mean, it's a reasonable request. I mean, it's supposed to be science.
Okay.
It's supposed to
Well,
show
well,
me, demonstrate.
let's go and find
How
out
can
then.
it? How can it be? Because obviously, this is the law of thermodynamics is actually based on the forward motion on forward time. So,
Right?
are we now canceling one of the laws of thermodynamics, one of the best proven laws ever?
No, of course we haven't said that. I
Oh
haven't said that.
well, so make up your mind.
You're using a
Logic. I'm
you're
using
using ad
logic.
hominem. You have an attack at me. Yeah, I'm not,
You
I'm not the one creating this.
Oh, sorry. I'm obviously I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking your position very, very expertly, in my opinion. And obviously, this being a post-digital age, what was the blooming topic again that we're doing?
Has the
This
digital age collapsed objective truth?
apparently yes. Look at Tony saying yes because he has access now to information that he wouldn't have had because he wouldn't have been going to the library to pick up these heavy books, these heavy tomes on theoretical physics and troll through them. But because he has access, because there's a passing video or something that says, "Oh yeah, imagine it." Tony doesn't stop long. Well, okay, not Tony, but people. There we go. People don't stop long enough to say, "Hang on a minute, what's all this about?" People are not tired. Tyler doesn't believe anything off the bat. Off the bat. Yes, I don't believe anything off the bat. I don't care who says it. Yeah, I've got to read
Do
something.
you not trust people then?
No, obviously not. And
So do you
people
not
are
trust
horrible.
anyone?
No, not even myself. Everything facts, facts and evidence. Fact. Look, listen. If I trusted
Yourself,
myself,
I love it.
I wouldn't have bothered to look over a video you sent me months ago. The video was about the moon's tidal lock, right? The moon is tidally locked with the earth.
Yeah.
And you said, well, that means we can only see one face of the moon ever. We can never see the far side of the moon. And for months, I thought you were a nincompoop. I've got to be honest about it. I really did. And I thought about it, and then someone else said the moon is tidally locked, and we only ever see one side of it. And I thought that's what Tony said. I thought the man was a nincompoop. This is let me look into this, and I think it took me like 3 days to understand what they were talking about, and then I find out, oh my gosh, it's true. Didn't I apologize to you? No, no, send you
I've never heard an
WhatsApp.
apology from you.
Let me apologize to you now in public
Okay.
and in all seriousness. I'm really sorry for thinking you were an nincompoop for proposing what to me at the time seemed extremely stupid. And it's true.
Can I just help you out here? I am a nincompoop. I know I'm a nincompoop.
Well, it is called the show of the two numpties for a reason. So it's not as if I'm not a nincompoop either. It's just that I don't trust myself, so I'll come back and I double check. You're right. When you're right, you're right. What do you want me to say? Sorry for Well, I'm not sorry for doubting you because doubting is what I do for my nature. But yeah, I think when I doubt people now, it's probably best not to call them nincompoops in my head. It's probably best because you never know when you turn around and find out that actually those guys were right.
Well, the thing is, you see, I'm not unlike you. I'm not so negative towards the scientific community. I know there are some people who get it wrong. Of course there are. But by and large, they're doing reasonable work and coming up with some interesting ideas. And especially the topics that we're talking about here beyond the scope of most people, myself included, in terms of what they talk about. So their knowledge base, you have to sort of not bow to them, but you have to respect them to a degree that they are knowledgeable on the subject matter that they're talking about. So you give them some leeway. So when they come out with these statements, they're fantastical. I get it. And you're right. And you're right to question it. But you and I, and I dare say the majority of our listeners, will think, well, we don't know enough about that subject. So we have to either trust or distrust the source. And this is key to what we're talking about today. Has the digital age collapsed objective truth? But you do have to trust some elements of it, but others you do question. And if the whatever's been said charges us emotionally, creates some emotional response, makes us feel angry, makes us feel concerned, made us feel aggrieved, then you can sort of point the finger and think, well, actually, is that truthful? Because it's playing on my emotions. But when someone says something about imaginary time, it's not emotionally charged. Why would they say it? They've got nothing to gain. They're not trying to sell me something. So you think, well, could it be truthful? I don't know. I don't know enough on that subject to challenge it. So in this instance, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, sure. Like you'd want them to elaborate and explain it further. What do they mean? What is it? So I'm not taking it as truth, but in this instance, what are they gaining? They're not gaining anything in this instance. They're not trying to rip me off with imaginary money, or something along those lines. They're making a statement about imaginary time, which then explains some sort of theory. But I don't know. That's my view. I don't know.
They are. Whenever there's public discourse and someone makes a statement, at the very least, he wants to be taken seriously. So he's asking for your attention, and you repay him or her with your attention. And if you accept what they're saying and you think that they're clever, then you reward them with respect. So attention and respect are quite important to humans. You offer them freely when you accept someone's imaginary time posit without having that person fully explain it. Now, obviously, Einstein's wrote a book, and obviously, very clever people read the book and thought, "Oh, this is brilliant," and they've been using it for donkey's years and things. They've even said that they have used his theories and his formulae to help situate satellites so that we've taken time dilation effect into account in understanding how to make our GPS signals and other satellite signals accurate, because we've had to take time dilation effect into account for that. But there was another chap, I'll try to find his name now, in NASA, working for NASA at the time, who worked it out without Einstein's theory and got the same results. He got exactly the same results. He didn't need theory. So he didn't use time dilation effects. He just worked it out.
With maths.
With maths. But he was suppressed. Why was he suppressed? What's in it for the people who wanted us and who need us to accept Einsteinian
How was
model?
he suppressed?
They didn't use it. They didn't allow it to be published side by side with the other results from Einstein's, using Einstein's the time dilation effect. They thought rightly that people would say, well, in that case, what's the fuss about Einstein's time dilation effect thingy? Is it actually accurate? Is it actually true? I mean, if we can work out the same things without it, it's not a fundamental aspect of nature, is it? It's an interpretation of nature, which is what maths, in my opinion, does. It interprets nature. 2 + 2 is a fundamental statement, but a formula with imaginary time in it is interpretive. It's not declarative. It doesn't declare something. It interprets something, and that's the difference.
But if you're using the maths, hold on, if the end result is still the same, does it matter how you get there?
Yes. Yes, it does, because one is declarative maths and the other is interpretive maths. One is the kind of maths that you can take to the bank and you can depend on it, and the other is interpretive. You're interpreting things, but your interpretation might change over time as your understanding of the universe changes.
But the interpretive maths, if it gets the result that you're expecting, then how does that make it incorrect? It's interpreting what the evidence is in a mathematical formula, and the whole point of a formula is that it's repeatable.
But
So,
do you understand how we ended up looking for dark matter and dark energy? The interpretive maths did not work, so they're stuck on a variable. And when asked, well, what is this variable? Some wag came up with dark matter. That's how we ended up looking for dark matter. That particular formula didn't work. So they're stuck in another variable. And we
Okay,
go,
I
what's
get
this
that.
variable?
I get that. If they're sticking in variables which don't actually appear as objective data, then yeah, you could be, you could make any imaginary number work if in that case, because, you know, it's just nonsense. So I get that. I get that. But is that the only one you've got a gripe with? You're looking at, because you seem to be focusing on particular dark energy.
Well, it's the most egregious example in cosmology, and by extension, one of the most egregious examples in consensus engineering, because it's so nonsensical to a practical, not practical, to a skeptically minded person such as myself, that I just think, well, if I am a numpty and even I get that you're talking nonsense, you're supposed to be the PhD. How come you don't know you're talking nonsense? It's the emperor's new clothes. This is the whole thing. It's the emperor's new clothes. You know, I'm also very suspicious that when people are winning Nobel prizes for physics and this and for that, and they're making lots of moolah, money, dosh, kudi in Hausa, or in Yoruba. What else have we got, Tony?
You
Smackers,
covered most
dough,
most of the
dosh,
slang to describe money,
yeah,
but yeah, go on.
the good stuff,
Yeah.
greenery.
Okay.
Okay, so when people are making that, I think they know they're talking nonsense, but they're making so much money off it that they just go,
How
it'll
are they
sort
making?
itself
You
out.
see,
They
I'm
publish books,
bemused
for
about.
example.
They're
They
writing
publish books.
books.
Yeah, they're writing
Mm.
books.
I
They're
mean, come
publishing. They're
on.
publishing.
Let's look at the circle of people. How much money? I mean, I'm an author myself, so obviously not in that realm. Children's books, by the way, I might as well plug it. Hey, Boris the Brick. We're on.
never,
We're
never miss,
on. Why
never
not?
miss an
Just get the plug
opportunity.
in. Yeah, absolutely.
What's the
But
name of the
anyway,
book?
Boris the Brick, The
Where do we
Adventures of
find it?
Boris the Brick, on all good booksellers and obviously the big boys like Amazon and Ingram Spark and places like that.
There
Anyway,
we go.
enough of the plug. What we're going to talk about is, if you're going to write a book on that subject, let's be honest, unless it's to the mainstream, you're not going to make a lot of money. So I'm not sure that that's the way that they're making money. And whether it is, it's going to be very, very small. I'll give you that.
Well, what
What I
about
think is
what
happening.
about a well-paid position? What about a
Well, it's
well-paid
more
position
likely
as a
to get
professor?
sponsorship for further research.
Well, there you go. Well, you've just
Okay.
answered. Thank you. I even forgot about grants. I should have said it straight
Yes,
off the bat. Research
exactly.
grants.
Yes, that's more
Oh,
likely to
yeah,
happen if
exactly.
you've got certain information, you got a book out, blah, 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 to just advance your theories. But however, that money, that grant money won't just come easily. You have to give some backup to it to ensure it's going to bring some value to whoever's offering you the grant. So, yeah, I get it. But I don't know. I'm not sure they're
I'm not
making
sure
as
that's how
much
grant money.
moolah as you
I'm not
describe.
sure that's how grant money actually works. I think there are grants given for research,
There are.
and these grants. I mean, some
Yeah,
of the
you're right. There are.
outlandish grants that Elon Musk and his Doge team uncovered. Some of the grants,
Oh, I know.
whether was it dolphins turn homosexual due to warm water or something? I mean, I so you well, what possible use? But pure
We
pure
don't know that,
pure
do we?
science. Well, I was about to say that pure science doesn't work like that. You don't research because you think there's going to be some practical benefit. You're expanding mankind's knowledge. So if someone is paying $150,000 to look for dark energy, you take the money and say thank you very much, knowing full
Okay.
well there's no such blooming thing as dark energy, but you're not going to tell the person who's handing you the grant. What about
Well,
when they tell you to go out and find the missing link or something? In my other bugbear, evolution, the theory of macroevolution from goo to zoo. What about when they give you that money and you know very well you're not going to find anything? You're going to take it to the bank and say thank you very much and buy yourself a new sports car. What the
I'm
heck?
not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. They do, you get given a grant, but you've got to come back with some results. Otherwise, the grant is removed. It's not indefinite.
What you
There
do is
has
you
to
come
be.
back. Sorry to interrupt. What you do is that you come back and then you say, do you know what? we found these fascinating bones of Neolithic men in this particular stratum of the of the of the geologic column, which is very strange, very odd, and we think is a pointer to where we might be able to actually locate the missing link next time. Although this time, because we have to dig a bit deeper, we'll have to go for $100,000.
Okay.
That's how you play it, and
Can
that's
you
and playing it
show
like
us
that.
what you found so we can get others to
Oh yeah,
analyze it and believe?
here's this fragment of bone. I know it looks like charcoal, but to an expert like me,
Listen,
an expert,
listen. I'm not disagreeing with you, but the digital, the topic itself, the digital age, has it collapsed subjective truth? That was going on before the digital age. Let's be honest. And yes, of course, it happened. There's going to be some scientists out there who are just batting their head against the wall, not really discovering anything, but keep asking for grants. I get that, but that happens in other areas, not just science. But hey, that's just people manipulating the system. If the people offering the grants aren't putting enough checks and balances in, then they're foolish. They're just throwing their money away. So, and I get that. And what the Doge thing with Elon Musk discovered, there was some examples of that in government. Although they cut and cut and cut, and have they gone cut too far? That remains to be seen. We shall see what happens there. But let's get back on topic here.
I
What?
don't think we ever left it.
No, but
The spread of information or this information that convinces so many people that modern science, modern science, that modern science in air quotes is gospel, has spread because of the digital age in which we live. In that it is spread through social media, and it is spread as a fundamental fact of our human experience and knowledge, and not people who have tried, people like me, but more important people than me, who have tried to fight back, have just been edged out of the discussion. It's just one of my main beefs is about the godforsaken YouTube that keeps censoring me, and I can't say anything. As soon as I come anywhere near the truth, I'm censored. It's like, what the heck? You can't get the word out. We have to find other means of getting the word out. Donald Trump had to go and create
what's the word out? What's the
hmm?
word out? What are you trying to
an
explain?
alternative position. I'm trying to explain what I've just explained in this show so far. That number, that what people don't understand is, if you tell most people that Einstein's theory depended on something called imaginary time, they'd be immediately more circumspect about believing it. They go, oh, I didn't quite know that. I didn't understand that. And I've sent a link, by the way, you can share with our readers, the Wikipedia page about imaginary time. So you can have a look at that and go, well, if that's the case, why do we believe this stuff? And most people don't know that every time they make an observation that doesn't fit their maths, they don't throw away the maths, which is what I think logical people would do, and go, well, this is a load of bunk. What they do is they're sticking another blooming variable. They're heading towards Ptolemy. You know, remember Ptolemy?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you never met him.
No, he died years
I mean,
ago.
we're old, but we're not that
Yeah,
old.
we're not that old.
What is he? Well, anyway, Ptolemy's geocentric model, Ptolemaic geocentric model. In the end, it could explain pretty much everything, but that's the problem. You could explain false things as well. It didn't work because it worked for everything. There was nothing that it didn't. There was nothing that it said, no, hang on, you can't do that. Everything worked. So it's like we've got this James Webb Space Telescope that's coming back with what people claim is astonishing data, and they're scratching their heads. And up to this moment in time, no one has thought to themselves, well, do you know what? This math doesn't work. We're going to have to go back to the beginning.
Oh, no, they're certainly asking those questions now.
I think they're searching for a variable, in my opinion. I mean, I'm getting ready for them to come up with a new variable. That one that they'll stick on there and go, this is it. This is let me see. TTKF. This is the TTKF variable. somebody knows what I mean straight away. So listeners might have to watch our other videos, know exactly what I mean, or listen to our other podcast. Sorry. Yes. Anyway, they'll come up with some weird variable like that, and people will just take it and run with it, and then more
Mm.
research grants will come flowing, and they'll be happy. In fact,
Okay.
even the mere fact that they're saying it's a problem is good news for them because it means they need they need more money. Scott, this is not what we expected. That's good. That should be another 5, 10, 15 years of research grants.
Okay. So what's the way forward? Because let's be honest, one of the biggest problems that we've got, and that's why the digital age is a problem, is because the everybody can publish.
Mm.
And what makes you an authority? Who's the source of truth, regardless of their expertise or factual accuracy? Who? Anyone. We could be, if we become even more popular than we are, people will think we're telling the truth. Excuse me. So it's
Wow.
just
God's
because
intervention
popularity.
came quickly then, didn't it? Hello? Is it there? Ooh. You better be careful.
I've
The
got
big
a,
man is what the big lad is watching you. Can we
I've
say
got this
that? I think that's
cough now, and
blasphemy,
it's
isn't it?
starting. I'm trying to drink water, not cough on the not on camera. But yeah, because this low barrier of publishing, think about it. Anyone can publish. Anyone. You can go on a social media platform, sign up, you can publish stuff. So, and you could make out X, Y, and Z. If you create enough noise and enough followers, people will follow you, regardless of your expertise or accuracy. That's the way it is. So that the entry for publishing is too low. So that's the problem. This is where digital age has contributed to the erosion of objective truth. It hasn't eradicated it, but it's certainly eroded it. It's made it difficult to find the wood for the trees, if I can use that term, because there's so much muck out there. Where's the good bits in all this muck? And that's the problem. And I said it before in one of the previous shows, I think, where I said that soon, well, I mean, I think you laughed at it. Soon, even the conspiracy theorists will think, "What? This is not right." And that's the problem. And that, yeah, because it becomes too fantastical. Too many people are shooting their mouths off with contrary theories and beliefs, and it becomes the Wild West. So who do you trust? There is no trust. Only a few places can be trusted, and even they will be challenged in such a manner. Look at the incumbent in the White House at the minute. I mean, everything that doesn't go his way is challenged as fake news. I mean, just because you don't agree with it and it's undermining what you're saying doesn't make it fake news. But because a certain demographic are following that and make him the arbiter of truth, then everyone else is lying according to their playbook. So there you go. That's part of the challenge where we have so that the entry point is so easy. I mean, look at us. Who are we? What's our background? We're producing content and we try to be as factual as we can. And we are SMEs, subject matter experts in some areas. I put my hand up there. But some of the topics we discuss, we know only a small amount. So we're not SME, subject matter experts in it. And so we can give our opinion based
Hmm.
on what we've done as far as research is concerned. And this obviously I'm going to say it. I think our opinion isn't that bad because at least we are doing some research. But there's a lot of people out there who aren't. They take everything on face value and they receive their information from social media without vetting it, not understanding that there are a lot of people out there who are clearly not informing them. They're just trying to up their numbers on a platform which pays by numbers. So They can tell you anything. And as long as you're listening in, they're getting paid. So it's crazy, isn't it? But the digital age has messed up objective truth for
Well,
sure,
I
you say.
think the lovely thing about the digital age is that I'm going to disagree with you. By the way, I don't believe the digital age collapsed objective truth. I think what it did was it gave everyone, a megaphone to yell the personal version of it from their bedrooms while wearing pajamas and eating cereal.
Mm.
Everybody's now got a version of the objective truth, and they're yelling it, and they claiming the mistake they claim is that it is the objective truth. So it went from 3 TV channels in the US in America. I got to stop talking about America all the time. Anyway, it went from 3 TV channels in the US to 8 billion people, which is a bit of an exaggeration, walking around with pocket computers where their cousin, Abayo, hello, Abayo, where their cousin can start a YouTube channel called The Truth About Everything and gain 50,000 subscribers. Shock, horror, and real worry about that. By the way, some numbers there are just yikes. I mean, I know about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're taking advice from me, it's like yikes. Anyway, so this is the digital age for you.
Oh,
It is not the collapse of objective truth, but having objective truth being drowned out.
yes.
So it's there, but how do you know? How do you know it? This is the problem. Before you get to it, you've got to get through so many
Yes.
bios, so to speak. I hope he doesn't watch this video. Listen to this episode.
Why
Anyway,
not? He's another listener on our show.
yeah, well,
I mean, how do you then, all the stuff that we're bombarded with, and there is a lot of stuff now, how do we determine what is real and what is not? Because that's basically the point of what we're making here. What is truthful and what is not?
okay, I've got an answer to that. And I said it earlier. Whatever you tell me, I won't need to accept your assumptions. And that's the objective truth. You tell me something that doesn't depend on me accepting your assumptions, it's got to be true. You tell me something based on 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. I can go with it because I can prove 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 on my own, and having proved it on my own, and I can move forward what you're telling me. So,
But that resorts to going back to the fundamental of literally, you've got to scrap everything and start again. Is
not
that
really.
really
No,
viable?
just you either say this is the truth or say this is my opinion. Once you say this is my opinion, I can listen to you and then think about it, and I'll go with my gut feeling because it's just an opinion. It is where people say this is the truth. That's the problem. Or when they pretend that they're saying this is the truth, but sorry, it's when they pretend that they're saying this is my opinion, but they're actually telling you this is the truth. A lot of scientists will say, well, we don't really know that the theory of evolution is the gospel truth because there are serious problems with it. So it eventually it's just our best. It's the best available theory. What's that term they always use now? Best what? Best theory? Oh, there's some.
What the best theory we've got compared to
Yeah,
there's
but
no,
there's
yeah, I
a
know the
phrase.
term.
There's a term for it. Best available, best in the field. That's it. They say it's the
Okay.
best in the field. So it's the best in the field. We have to accept it, but it's nonsense.
Well, we
Well,
don't have to accept it.
well,
But
that's
it's
what they're
the
saying. It's best in the field. We're going to work with it. It's all we've got to work with because the other things out there, they're worse than this.
Mm.
Even though because the idea of an intelligent designer is too close to God for them, so they don't like it, so they throw
No,
it
there's
out.
no evidence for it. That's an opinion again. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm saying it's an opinion, but it's co-equal. It should be taught as well because it's as much a viable theory to explain all this as your so-called evolution. I'll say it's even better because it's got fewer holes in it. So frankly, if we're just looking at it from that
Yeah,
point
but
of
then
view,
you might as well say Harry Potter created everything.
no,
That's
Harry
just as
Potter didn't
viable.
exist before the rest of the universe. I'm being serious now, so you can't
Okay.
go off of that kind of the
No, but
dismissive attitude.
I'm playing devil's advocate here because you're coming out with something which has no
Intelligent is
evidence.
the entire universe is its evidence. It didn't get here
That's
by accident. It nothing can create something. It didn't. It's not logical. The entire universe works. Have you ever just tried to have herd cats? Have you ever tried herding cats? We say it's like herding cats because it's so blooming difficult to herd cats. Think about how many cats are in this infinite, well, I don't know about infinite large, and in this stupendously large universe, and the whole damn thing works. And it's supposed to be an accident? What kind of accident is that?
I'm not
So,
sure they're saying it's an accident.
sorry?
They're not. That's your
Yeah,
interpretation
no,
that
no,
they're
no, no.
saying
They're
it's an
saying no,
accident.
no. The universe pop. It didn't even pop into existence. They go back to something, and they don't even start from the beginning. They go back to something that they say is an infinitely small point that contained everything in that infinitesimally small
They
point.
that again, you can start failing the maths here, but the maths seem to indicate that that's where it started.
I'm telling you
You
what they're
know,
saying. So this isn't for argument. I'm just saying this is what they're saying. They started from an infinitesimally small point, not from nothing. So they're not saying it came from nothing. They're not explaining how that infinitesimally small point got to be there. They're saying, oh, that's a singularity. Well, so what the hell is a singularity? So just throw another word in there, and then we're supposed to accept that as a singularity, whatever the hell that means. And then suddenly, and we don't even know it's even suddenly because the time exists in that blooming thing. Who knows? It exploded, and it did so breaking all laws of physics that we've ever noticed. It broke the speed of light, it broke gravity, it broke everything, and then it settled down. And then everything just settled down nicely. And that is modern consensus engineering. And then they're saying that some intelligent agent created all this with intent and with purpose and with power. But by power, I mean with ability that is beyond our imagination. That intelligent agent or agency, whatever it is, or agents created all this. That makes more sense. Because the other stuff, I start asking the simple questions. Well, why did it break? Why did it break all laws of physics only to settle down into the laws of physics? Where have we seen that happen before? Where have you seen an explosion create a Boeing 747? Remember that famous phrase, not phrase, that famous question. I don't know, some very clever wag said it's like the theory of evolution is like imagining that a hurricane blows through a, a junkyard and leaves behind it a brand new sparkling 747. It's not how it works. It's
that
this thermodynamics thing. We move towards chaos. We don't move towards order.
you're okay. You're now trying to you're explaining something which again also doesn't have any evidence. It's just a subjective opinion because you have no evidence for it. Is like I'm saying, you're dissing the there is some evidence, some measurable evidence for the Big Bang. It may not be correct, but there's no evidence at all for a some being that's created it all. You're implying an intelligence there, which we have no evidence for. It looks like it could be intelligent, but again, there's no evidence. So again, it's a subjective um, interpretation. It's not. We don't know. We don't know.
Do
Simple.
you come across a dead a body that has a knife sticking out of its back and blood pooling underneath it? A body, sorry, a knife sticking out of its maybe out of its chest. Let's put it that way. A knife sticking out of its chest where the heart is, with blood, massive amounts of blood pooling around it, and then say there is no evidence of a murder here because you haven't caught the murderer. Is that your position? The body with the knife is the evidence. The state of the universe, its stability, its law and order is the universe. Do you know who said that? Do you know who said that?
No?
Sir Isaac Newton.
Okay.
And do you know where he said it? in the book, which name I now remember, part of his name, his Principia. That is the book that spoke about gravity and everything.
Okay.
So
But I'm
he
not
looked at the universe and said it couldn't possibly not be the mind of a supreme intelligence because it is so intelligently worked out.
Agreed.
What you're trying to
Right.
not to agree. You're
I'm
trying to
not
say no,
saying,
no, no.
look, I'm not countering or agreeing or disagreeing with your belief system. That's not what I'm saying here. But I'm trying to make you understand it's not an objective truth. It's not.
No,
It's a
no, no.
subjective truth.
Excuse me. No, don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say it's an objective truth. How can it be? It
Okay.
means that you can't because it will
But that's the
require you to
topic of our.
accept it require you to accept my assumptions. But I've said that an objective truth is one where I don't have to accept your assumptions. True?
Say that again. Your objective truth
An
is that
objective
you
truth
don't have
is
to
one.
assume my assumptions.
Yeah, you don't have to assume the other person's assumptions. That is how you know that's the truth. So if I say Prince Charles, sorry, not Prince anymore, King Charles,
King
oops.
Charles. Oh dear.
If I say, oh dear, sorry, Your Majesty. If I say King Charles is the reigning monarch of the UK, I can look into that, and there is a reigning monarch of the UK, and I can look into where would I look into to do my research, as we would love to say on the internet. I can do my research and find out, yes, the reigning monarch, as acknowledged by the House of
You
Lords
have
and all
to
that.
believe, you have to trust the places you're doing your research from as providing you with the correct information. So you see what I
No,
mean?
I think there is the body. There is a body that rules over us, and that body is Parliament, isn't it?
Okay. But
So
then
who
see
does
what I'm
Parliament?
saying?
Who does Parliament? No, the body of Parliament rules over us. They create the laws.
I know that. I know. But what we're saying is when you're going back to our topic, the digital age collects objective truth, you have to then trust. There has to be trust in who you're getting your information from. And going back to your argument of the universe, we could quite easily say, well, some alien being started the universe,
Where
or
did the alien
we
come
did
from?
it, or hang on, or we did it, where the Big Bang is the start of a virtual reality.
Uh, I don't even know what that means. So I'm not going.
Simulated, right? The
I think you're just pulling.
simulated universe is a computer program that we're all living in. That's as good as analogy as a being that created everything.
So the universe is a simulated reality. It's right. It's a simulation or a
Yeah,
virtual one. I don't know, whichever
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, in a computer. All right. So it was created by someone or
Yeah,
something.
agreed.
So that's the intelligent designer then. Duh.
Yeah, I'm not dis. You're missing what I'm saying here,
What are
right?
you saying?
You're right. They're saying that the Big Bang started at that point. That's the data that they've got. How it started, they don't know, and they've even said it. They don't know. How did it start from that point? But the data they do have goes to the Big Bang. But they don't
Well, it
know how
did.
that Big Bang started. Well,
It did go. It did go. Now the JWST has thrown a wrench in the works,
yeah, I
hasn't
know
it?
it has. It has because there's things there that just don't make sense. So yeah.
So
Now,
from those of us who never believed in it, we're laughing all the we're laughing behind our no, we're just laughing. We're just laughing. See, I'm laughing. The
goodness me. I mean,
the,
okay.
the thing is, a lot of people. This discussion we're having is even more. Is more respectful, and it is actually working things out. But the digital age offers too many people just space to rant. And
Yes.
this type of discussion would never take place. People, insults would be hurled back and forth, and these what do they call them, flame threads or whatever they call them, they'll just go on for a long time until the energy peters out, and then everybody just moves on to the next thing to start yelling about. It's the inability of regulators to honestly regulate the space so that people can walk away with thoughtful expressions. Thinking, yeah, well, actually, that chap made some good
Yeah,
points.
exactly. But that doesn't happen.
No, it's not
It
happening.
happens more so, strangely, it happens more so in person. But for some reason, when you're behind a keyboard, it quickly descends to insults, or you attack the person ad hominem, isn't it? Attack the person rather than the argument. Oh, because I don't believe what you say. Oh, you're blah, 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 whatever you are, and you pay personal insolence. Or what's the other one you've used on me? Straw man, where I've taken, I've taken your argument to try and, what have I done?
Yeah, you've created a straw man. You've created
Yeah,
an easier one to attack,
to attack.
which is not
Yeah,
actually what I was. I don't know why I made it me, because that is not a bit of an ad hominem, to be honest. Just saying. But yeah, that's the straw man. It happens a lot in
yeah, it
on
does. It
social
does.
media. On
Summarize the argument
echo
somewhere.
chambers are probably the worst,
Yeah,
because you get into an echo chamber, you find that everybody agrees with you. You don't learn anything.
no,
One of the problems
absolutely
of the
not.
manosphere actually is that I've had to go on to follow women. I've had to follow some women. Ugh. You
Just to
know,
get
just to
a
make sure.
balanced viewpoint.
I just want to make sure that my echo chamber hasn't led me down the primrose path, so to
Well,
speak.
that's the problem. Again, social media works the same. It works in that manner, doesn't it? It amplifies and shows
Mm.
you more of what you agree with. So you only see one particular
That's not
viewpoint.
actually. I don't actually lay that at the foot of the average man or woman, because that's actually the algorithm, and I think that's the algorithm's fault.
Yes, it is the
I will say
algorithm's
I
fault.
despise YouTube, but I will say that every now and then it is showing me stuff that I think, why are you showing me this stuff? And then I
Yes.
remember to click on it, try to watch it. Sometimes, I just put it on, let it run in the background or something, because I don't want to discourage the algorithm from showing me a little bit more. But
Yeah.
just yesterday, we're showing me nature programs in French, and I don't speak French, so that's going a little too far. N'est-ce pas? I mean,
No,
seriously, man.
but
What the hell's that?
the point is, at least some social media platforms, as you've just mentioned,
Mm.
are trying to diversify the information that is presented, because some of them, as we know, only bombard you with the same stuff that you've commented on, rather than a different viewpoint, to give you a balanced view. Now, if you then still come back to your original point of view, that's absolutely fine, because you that understand the alternatives
Mm.
viewpoint, but you
Mm.
still agreeing with the original viewpoint. So now that's fine. That's balance. That's absolutely 100% correct. It's when you don't even understand the other person's viewpoint where you have a challenge. And we're seeing this. We see this polarization in the States as well. For some reason, particularly in America, Republicans and Democrats, they think that they're alien to one another.
I
And
think
if
I know
you
the
have,
reason why.
go
I
on
think I
then.
know the reason why. When I was on Facebook, I'm no longer on Facebook. When I was on Facebook, I used to get all these extremely humorous memes from one side or the other, lambasting the other side. And those memes are really funny, but they carry quite a sting. They are poisonous. And over a period of time, I think it will poison the mind, anyone's mind, against the other side. I think it's they probably Americans probably need to promulgate a law where, I know it's anti-free speech, and I'm a supposed free speech advocate. Well, maybe when it comes to politics, you just got to state the facts, and you're not allowed to state an opinion. It's a very weird thing for a free speech advocate to say, but I think there really needs to be really serious fines if you say, in my opinion, Donald Trump is a this, that, and the other. Look, man, that's going to cost you $5,000, $10,000. Just don't say it. What did Donald Trump do? Donald Trump has bombed Iran, and we're now in serious jeopardy of going to war against Iran. Fine, say that. Fine, excellent, well done. Right? So let's hear what he's done. Let's not have all these ad
Yeah,
hominems
it's
and things
always the
because
act we have to comment on, not the individual. And
it's gotten out of hand over
yeah,
there, and they're very clever memes. These are hilarious, rip tickling stuff.
yeah, I know,
But when
I
you
know.
stop laughing, you think, actually, that was a bit mean. And what does it do to people who don't take the time to step back? I think that's probably not a good idea to be saying stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you. But that's something that has to be sorted by the social media companies. But the reluctance in some ways of government to impact social media companies, although they did it during the pandemic, of course, they don't want to do it. They want to leave
Mm.
them to police themselves. But this policing isn't ideal because they're doing it for maximization of profits. They don't care. They don't care if people are polarized as long as they're viewing and they got their eyeballs on the thing. Then that's they're happy. They don't have moral, or they claim they have moral obligations to ensure that biases and things are not put out there. But no,
Yeah.
they don't care. They don't
Mm-mm.
care. It's all lip service. Blimey, we've got to the top of the hour.
May I
Goodness
just say
me.
before we
Yeah,
go
please give summary. Yeah, yeah.
that are you kidding me? I moved away. Why did I move away from the blooming thing I was on? Ridiculous. It's just oh well, never mind. You guys will
He's lost his way.
you'll
Oh,
never know the name of Einstein of Sir Isaac Newton's book was the Prince. I had it on the screen. The Principia yada yada blah blah blah. It's gone.
it wasn't
Sorry.
that.
What is the topic again? Something to do with the thing. Yes.
Has the
So
digital age collapsed objective truth, or has it eroded it?
I collapse is the wrong word. We're very close to it's very close to being right. It hasn't collapsed objective truth. It has drowned it out. It is drowning it out. It is very difficult to. I mean, yeah, it has drowned it out. Look at the conflagration between the illegitimate state and the Palestinians in Gaza. Anywhere you go on social media, it's one of the two. Where are the people who are saying a thing that results to this is anti-human, and we've got to have an equitable solution for everybody? It's either fully on one side or fully on the other side.
There's
Where are
polarization
the
there.
people in the middle saying we thought we had put an end to all this at the end of the Second World War? Why are we back here again?
Hmm. Interesting. Anyway, back on the topic, just to summarize, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's collapsed objective truth, the digital age certainly, but
Mm.
it's certainly messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, you've drowned it. It's, needle in a haystack type scenario. The truth is still there, but finding it and trusting the sources is a big challenge. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to apply all sorts of, you know, logic to when you see data, where who's presenting it, what is that type of data being presented, is there, are you applying critical thinking to it, i.e., you know not be a skeptic but certainly challenge everything you see. Assumptions, if someone makes an assumption, that's an opinion, that's not a fact. Recognize there's biases there, and if they certainly, the data that you're reading or consuming stimulates an emotion in some way, you'd need to challenge that and think, well, hold on, why is it doing this? What's their purpose? That's not data, that's something else. So it's looking for these little clues in the data. So you have to almost be a detective when you get presented data in order to analyze it properly to make head or tail of whether it is truth or not. And some may even trick you by taking some truth that you're aware of. So you then sort of trust it. And then they elaborate and they go off on a tangent which isn't linked to the first bit that you believed. So that's something as well which comes from experience by looking at this sort of stuff. But anyway, we've got to the end of the show. So, if you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexpected twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tyre, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.